Sorry. Hey, just wiping a little bit of egg off my face after that call yesterday about the unemployment number being today. Yes, it is usually the first Friday of the month, but not this month. The reason being is usually when there's a shorter month or a short week in a sense, they won't release that unemployment number because they haven't had enough time to compile the data to release that number. That's what's happened. That's why it's not happening today or didn't happen already. It's going to be next Friday. So sorry about that call yesterday. Thought it was going to be today, but the broader markets, actually crude oil just moving into positive territory, but most of the markets are down on the day. But let me get a couple of things out of the way. My name is Eric Wilkinson. Some of you may recognize me as the Wolfman from CNBC, Fox Business, or even the Wall Street Journal. For my commentary on everything from economic to geopolitical and market analysis, please keep in mind that everything that we talk about in these daily market commentaries is not a solicitation to buy or sell any of these securities or strategies. At the end of the day, we're here to teach you some different strategies that you can implement into your portfolios, but please do that in your own way. The reason why I can't give you a recommendation on a particular stock or strategy is because I don't know your risk parameters. I don't know what's in your portfolios, and therefore what I'm doing could be counterintuitive to what you are already doing. Having that out of the way, let's get this on. A little bit of economic data today in the form of PMI. No unenjoyment number today. Sorry about that. I was just assuming first Friday of the month it would be coming out, but it being a short month of February and coming where the new month started very close to the Friday, they decided to move that off until next Friday. So, but we still have a lot of economic data to look at. We have German retail sales came in slightly lower than expected at negative 0.8%, was expected to be a positive 0.2%, and they revised last month's number up to unchanged. It was a negative number last month. Then we had Spanish services PMI come out at 57.7, was expected to be 55.5. We also had Italian services PMI come out at 54.1, was expected to be 53.1. And then German final services PMI came in line with expectations at 54.4, and French final services PMI came in at 56.4, in line with expectations there. Then we had the services PMI number for Germany, which is a broader, more widely looked at services PMI number, which is Purchasing Managers Index, came in at 53.3, was expected to be 54.4. Then we got here in the United States, our final services PMI came in line with expectations at 53.8, and then ISM non-manufacturing came in at 57.6. The rest of the day we have to look forward to are a bunch of Fed governors speaking. With the economic data that we're looking at, it's really looking like there's going to be a March hike of another quarter basis point. That's probably what they're going to be mostly talking about. The data across the board here and abroad has been pretty good, so I would expect that to be coming to fruition, if you will. And then we have Fed Governor Evans speaking right now, and a little bit later we have Fed Governor Powell speaking, and then towards the end of the day we have Yellen and Fisher speaking. So Yellen and Fisher will be speaking at the same time at 1 o'clock Eastern. On to the overall markets, we've got crude oil just pushing into positive territory by 50 cents. It was negative not too long ago, but pushing higher up against that value area high, which is going to act as resistance. But it is getting really comfortable at these levels, and we could shortly see these pivot a little higher and see these point of control move to right here at this 53 and a half area. Then on to gold futures. Nobody's happy as as all markets seem to be down, aside from crude oil, but gold getting below that 200-day moving average, bears fully in control here. That market is looking to come off quite precipitously, especially as the equities are at their historical highs. It seems like the flight to quality is abating a little bit, so people are getting a little bit more confident with the overall economic picture, and that does not bode well for gold futures. And we have bonds just slightly down on the day, despite the fact that the broader equity markets are down on the day. But the economic data coming out with these Fed governors speaking, it's got a pretty bearish tone for the treasuries. Then we have Dow Jones Industrial Average just off by about 25 points, let's call it. But still hasn't covered that gap. I would expect it to cover that gap, and it's kind of looking like that's got the target on it. Not that it's going to be a massive correction in the market, but it does have a tendency to want to try and cover those gaps. Then we have the NASDAQ down just slightly on the day after yesterday's pretty decent sell-off, but down about 6 points right now. And the E-mini S&Ps are down as well. Again, not really a whole lot to talk about. Pretty quiet day, despite the fact that we've had pretty good economic data. Market's just trying to digest what is going to go on and probably waiting for what these Fed governors are going to have to say before they really start making a move. But the E-mini S&P is down almost 5 points on the day. This is what I was talking about, really quiet day, not a whole lot going on. After yesterday's sell-off late in the day, market continued to come off, but now the market really just trying to print the highs and lows in the day session. So market's kind of moving back and forth. I could easily see it want to come down here and push against these lows that were created overnight. So not much of a target, just a couple of points, but we're pushing away from that right now as we speak, as we've rallied about a half a point, but not a whole lot of things going on here. AMGN. So AMGN, I decided to go in here and just sell some puts. It's been doing really well and doesn't look like it has any weakness in it as of this point. But so I decided to go into AMGN. Went shorter duration here. Could have gone to the longer duration to sell these. It's got decent implied volatility. It's just slightly below the 50% mark. So I kind of went with the shorter duration on this. Plus, I couldn't get a whole lot more for the extra 35 days. So it just seemed like it was the right time to kind of go a little bit shorter duration, take a swing at this one, and went into the March and sold the 170 puts for 85 cents. That's about all I've done today, monitoring a couple of things. But at the end of the day, pretty happy with where my position is and with it being so quiet. Just not a whole lot going on. I've decided to just kind of ride out the rest of my positions as of right now and haven't really covered anything. Plus, we're getting ready for the webinar today on the long put spreads. If you noticed a couple of times this week, I've added a couple of long put spreads. The ones that I've put on for the long call spreads webinar are doing pretty well. So go to protraderstrategies.com, sign up for that. I'll show you how to increase your probabilities of success with this low probability strategy. Anytime you're doing a debit spread, especially long call put or long call spreads, long put spreads, those have probably the lowest probability of success, or at least one of the lowest ones. So I'm going to show you how you can kind of turn the tables a little bit on that strategy and increase your probabilities of success with that. All right. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you can't take that, take it easy.